Okay, thank you. Well, it's so incredible presentation I have never had. So, thank you very much for coming to our panel. And well, let me tell you what I feel. No, where I was proposed to be the moderator of this event. I didn't like too much the name, to be honest, because when they talked to me about digital transformation, I said, well, I don't like the word at all. Don't like it. No, probably we have used it so much, so extensively, I don't like that. But what I do like is what it means, no? And that's why I accepted, yes, I like that. Why? Because digital transformation at the end of the day is why all this money is coming to this type of events, to all of our startups. Why? Because we are changing the world. So in that sense, as we are changing, the economics are changing, and the money is changing in what pockets are. So this is the first message for me. Digital transformation is about new money coming to new players, and I like it very much. The second part, why I accepted is, well, I lead Accenture Digital, I told you. And what's our mission in Accenture Digital? Let me briefly state what we do. Our intention is helping to change the way we live and we work. This is our mission, our statement. For making that happen, we work with our lovely large corporations, with cool startups. So it fits perfectly with the things that we do. So I like it very much. I also like it because of this panel, and you will see later on that the mix of companies we have here are incredible. And finally, because of you, and before we jump into the panelists and I start asking questions to them, I would like to understand a little bit more what type of audience do we have here. So as I cannot place a cookie in each of your brains, and with the cookie understand where your mind is navigating right now, I will do it at a traditional style. It means I will do a research. We have given you a hand, so the hand, well, is at the end of the conversation, probably you can evaluate us as well, but well, let's not use it right now for that. So how many of you come from a startup? Let's see. Okay, good. How many of you come from a large corporation? Okay, how many of you work for both of us? Hey guys, that's me. No, so interesting, interesting question. No, it's just for helping us to understand now our speech, our messages. So let me start now presenting, and we will do 2 rounds of questions to our panelists. And let's start with Marieta. Probably many of you know Marieta. Marieta is the Deputy General Director of the Chief Digital Commercial Officer of Telefonica. Very long title. But she's incredible, she's very creative, she has an extensive experience in the digital world. So, Marieta, first of all, telcos, Telefonica. How are you living the digital transformation? Probably we are living it because we are users of you, but how are you living? What do you think the sector is changing?
Well, I think that we are living this exciting transformation process in a way that we would like to play a transversal role across industries, because with our technology and with our experience, we have went with consumers along the digital revolution, and now it's time to help other industries to transform the way they operate. If you think about Europe, only 2% of the companies have already finished or entered their digital process, so there is a long room, a huge room for improvement. Today, the Ministry of Industry, Soria, announced that the government is going to put in place an ambitious plan for the digitalization of the industries. So for us, it's a huge opportunity to help companies to get better, faster, and cheaper in their process. I will give you 2 examples. One is with the public sector, with a city town hall. They ask us for help in order to improve the way they plan the public transport routes. They used to work with traditional surveys twice per year, trying to figure out how the citizens use the buses. If you think twice a year and with surveys, it sounds like it's old-fashioned. So we deliver to the customer a solution that suppose that with the cellulars, with the mobile phones, we are able to understand, identify the path and the behavior of the citizens connected to a platform. Of course, the data remains anonymous, and we are providing in a daily basis how citizens perform and how they can plan much more efficient way the citizen bus transport. Another example is related to the food industry, for instance. We have a multinational customer that is providing a coffee machine industrial for hotels and for other public environments. And their business model depends a lot on the human processes, because they put the coffee machine in the place, in the hotel, and the business model is that in exchange, they get recurrent billing because of the raw coffee. The problem is that if the sales representative is not coming with the right time, the machines could be out of stock, the machines could have care problems. So we offer a solution where all the machines are connected to a platform. So this way, the customer, this company, can know if the machines are in good shape and are running okay, if they are running out of stock of coffee. And something that the customer enjoy is that they keep the same flavor and aroma of the coffee across all the places.
Very good, very interesting. It's always amazing.
It's always amazing. I think that the only limit is your imagination on running business and new business models.
Okay, thank you, Marieta. Let's jump now to a different sector. Let's go to Sacyr. Probably you know Sacyr is a very, very different sector. We are used to work with B2C companies. Here we have a very different profile of company, but probably where digital transformation is also coming. So we have Víctor de Ávila, is the Chief Strategy and Corporate Development Officer. He has a very international profile. He has been working in so many countries, 15 countries, up to 15 countries, speaks 5 languages, so probably you can speak to any language in this audience, for this audience. So how is the digital transformation coming to a sector like yours, more related to operations, infrastructures?
Yeah, well, the first thing that we need to define is, for us, what digital transformation means. And we need to keep it very simple so people across the organization understand what it means. For us, transformation is equal to innovation. Therefore, digital transformation is digital innovation. And it means that you need to have to implement digital technologies to change and to innovate your business model. Okay, so that's the beginning. If not, it becomes like a buzzword that nobody understands well enough to be able to digest it and then apply it into the business. So the first thing is this definition. It's very important for us. The second is, why do we need to transform or to innovate regarding these digital technologies? And the reason is very simple. People is buying, selling, interacting, communicating, analyzing data in a totally different way as we used to do it just a couple of years ago. And this is affecting as well our business models. It means that we need to redefine our business processes, our business models, value proposition, and even the way we interact with clients, suppliers, vendors, and all this. This means that when we talk about digital transformation, we're talking about mobilizing and changing and transforming all the business as a whole. You might say yes, but let's face it, this digital transformation is only for B2C companies or very high-tech companies as Telefonica.
Or B2B.
Yes, no. And B2B is very important.
Absolutely.
It's critical.
Yep.
Because we are selling to clients that have clients themselves. For example, like a municipality. The municipality, its client is the population, the people that is living in the city. And we are finally, at the end of a story, at the end of the value proposition, are those kind of people, okay? Which is citizens like you and me and all of us here around. And this means that for services or even for infrastructure, you know, big infrastructure projects, we need to implement this kind of technologies in order to be more efficient, more effective, and to remain competitive. Because there is something very clear in our mind that we rather change ourselves, you know, we rather disrupt ourselves instead of someone else coming and to disrupt us. And that's the beginning of the story, you know. Now, probably in the next question, we might go into what we have been, you know, innovating in particular cases, or I can do it now. It depends on the time, you know. But it's very interesting how a company that it's basically a brick and mortar more than anything else company can face this kind of digital transformation in a very tangible manner.
Okay, thank you very much, Victor. Now let's go to a different type of company. We have also startups in our panel. And here we have Marta Alonso, is co-founder and CEO of SAYME. I like it very much because we are talking a lot about Internet of Things, and probably we heard, and even we are investing there, but sometimes it's quite hard finding real projects with real solutions around the Internet of Things. And I think in this case, SAYME has a very good story. Perhaps, Marta, it's worth if you explain us briefly what your company is about, and after that, how are you contributing to this digital transformation?
And for us, as technology makers, the digital transformation means not only a change in the sense we understand the hardware and the software and the technology itself, but how we define the products. The challenge for us now is not the devices, it's how we provide the customer with the technology. A customer doesn't need to know and doesn't want to know if we provide them with Zigbee or Sigfox or 3G technology. He doesn't need to know if a certain device batteries last for 8 months or for last 8 years. He just needs to know information. He just needs to know the data. So what we need to provide him is a service with information and with the data. Avoiding him the need to understand what is in the background. So our challenge for us, the transformation for us, goes further the technology, goes in a changing in the way we provide the technology today. We don't sell products, we sell a product. Tell me what you need to know, when you need to know it, and I will do everything you need to provide it to you as a service.
Can you give us a couple of examples of the technology?
Yeah, when we started working on all these things more than 10 years ago. And at the beginning, what we did was create custom-made devices, hardware devices, to solve specific needs of certain clients. Then after that, we started to deploy projects based on hardware and so on. And now, for instance, we are working on a project to monitor the filling level of dumpsters in a city. The contractor, in this case, who is in charge of collecting the waste of the city, just needs to know what dumpsters are need to collect. In order to go to all the city, checking which dumpster needs to be collected or not. What we provide to the customer, which is the contractor in this case, is with the information of the filling level of each dumpster. He doesn't need to worry about if we use one device or another, if we use one type of communication or another. We have to solve it with all different kind of partners, that could be Telefonica or internet services providers or whatever, but the customer doesn't need to know all the things.
Very, very interesting. Well, and finally, we come back to our B2C, but more than that, we have Iberdrola. We have Agustín Delgado, Director of Innovation and Sustainability. He's a great moose player. Probably digital transformation and moose, I don't know how they fit, but
Yeah, it fits very well. You know, I remember like some years ago, Deep Blue beating Kasparov in a chess game. So I used to play chess, and this time I was very disappointed with that. So I changed to a game where machines cannot beat humans yet. You know? So yeah, and when we talk about digital transformation, it looks like we are starting with this right now, and this is not true at all. I think all the companies we are here, and we see a lot of corporate here, we have started with this digital transformation a long time ago, and we have incorporated many of this digital world to our business already. So, for example, we have a control system here in Toledo who is receiving 2 million signals in real time to control all our windmills around the world, for example. So this is digital. Or we have more than 6 million smart meters already deployed, roll out, and they are being read by machines already. So digital transformation has already happened. What we are talking about is how the new business models that are arising around connectivity, around big data, around the decreasing in the cost of digital thanks to cloud and thanks to and the new business model thanks to analytics could change all these kind of things. So I think this is the point, and this is the transformation we are living right now. So it is not that we are not digital so far, it is that how the improvement in digital world will change our business. So I would say, I mean, we are a very, I would say, very boring industry. I mean, giving light is like very boring, it's creating electrons, but truly things are changing. So, and you can define digital in different aspects of our business. If you go to generation, then I will say digital is to incorporate all the digital world to create efficiency, life assets, improvement, operational maintenance cost decrease, improvement in the environment or safety, and so on. So you will see all our operators having tablets for all the operational maintenance in our lines. So we have decreased, for example, the number of workers that have to be in charge of a line, and we have increased the quality of our service. So if we talk about operations in generation or in distribution, even in distribution, I would say digital will help us to develop better and deliver better our product. Then it comes to how we work in distribution. Distribution we used to be like a very analog world, like Tesla and Edison imagined 100 years ago. But now things are changing, and we are creating what is called smart grids. So smart is everything now, smart cities, but smart grid is really a different way of controlling and using the distribution networks. And this will bring a lot of opportunities to our customers and to the society. Then smart grids will become somehow the platform where people will be able to connect each other, like in the telecom industry, will connect each other so they can share, for example, electricity, and they can share the products and services around energy that they are developing. So really, the distribution networks are becoming the platform for connectivity and to share and to improve this, let's say, social economy in the energy industry. So our networks will be ready for that in the near future. And then it comes to retail. So you say B2C. So where we used to have subscribers, abonados. We have people that thanks us because we were giving them light. And it's not the case anymore. People want to have maybe their own generation, they want to have a better quality, they want to have services around the energy, and they want to have like very easy invoices and so on. Everything around the possibilities digital will bring to us. And we can give examples about this later on. And really this is where utilities are somehow struggling, because we are not so used to this competition, because our product was only light, but now the product is more complex. And digital will help us to develop this kind of products that the customer already wants.
Amazing. Okay, if I think in digital transformation, and we have done our quick round with all of us, and if you think in each of the different sectors, all of us have ideas about what can be changed in each of the sectors. So I have a question here is, why then we talk as much about digital transformation in all the CEOs' agenda, and we work for many of the sectors we are talking today. And we talk to the CEOs, and they have in their agenda, we need to speed up the digital transformation. No, this is a massive concern in all of our companies. No, if I think, and we have worked what I said, no, in many of those, I see that for making that happen, first of all, there is a lack of scale in many of the things we do. Moving from one nice idea for using this idea globally in our global companies, even if you are a startup and you would like to scale up worldwide, or if you are a large corporation, you have in many countries different operations, scaling our digital ideas, I think, is one of the key problems we are having today. No? For making that happen, I think there are things like talent that probably is missing. We do not have enough digital talent within our organizations for scaling up our ideas. No? I give you my own experience within Accenture Digital. We are a global group. We have now more than 30,000 people working in digital. I personally have here in Iberia 1,000 people, but be honest, it's a nightmare finding people with the right talent, and we are doing things that we have never done before, like acquiring companies. We used to have, like consultants, having juniors, becoming them seniors, was our traditional way of working. In digital, we have so different approach because it does not work. What do? We have acquired companies and invested because it's the only way we have to acquire real native talent. No? So also the lack of talent. I also think the lack of investments is another issue because when I talk to the CEOs, I say, okay, digital transformation, but if we do what pure players are doing, the large ones is clear what the massive amount of money they are investing. But if you add all the amount, all these startups, smaller startups are investing, really is what is making disruption because they are investing. So also the lack of investments here. So I would like to open a round to all of you about what are the barriers that you think we are finding in the companies, in the society, for making the digital transformation happen. Any?
Maybe we also need to change the way we think towards it. Because in the sense of technology, for instance, that we make, technology many times is interpreted as an end, as a goal, as a tool to achieve another things, to achieve improvements in performance, to improve, to detect failure, or to detect any kinds of incidents. And companies and city councils and public administrations many times face the projects, so face the digital projects as a goal by itself. They doesn't understand it as a mean to achieve another kind of things. And that we need to change that way of thinking.
Mm-hmm. Marieta.
Couldn't agree more with your statements. I think that companies that want to speed up in this transformation need to invest and need to acquire sometimes talent to make things happen. For instance, in the case of Telefonica, some time ago we decided to become a video company. And therefore, we believe that some talent and some investment need to be made in order to execute. So we acquired Canal Plus, as all of you know, and therefore we are speeding up in this target. If you think about Telefonica, we don't want only to distribute content. We would like to produce content. So that means that we need different talent and different competences and skills, but we are on the way to make it happen. And we are investing a lot in listening to customers in order to improve the customer experience. For instance, in the video and TV business, we invest in some solutions like the catch-up service that is the most appreciated service from our customers in the digital entertainment at home. And this service, for instance, provides to the customer the option of choose within the 7 days the broadcasted content that they would like to enjoy, for instance, or even we give to customers, in order to improve the experience, the option of once they start to tune a TV show alive, to have the option to start to see the program since the beginning, if you have a start in the middle of the program. So this kind of investment and this kind of solutions are helping us in this journey to become a video company. And I think that if you don't invest in people and if you don't invest in technology and solutions, it's not gonna be an execution way.
Víctor.
Okay. I think that to understand the barriers, you need first to have a good understanding of what is the sense of urgency that your company is facing. And most of us, well, not most of us in all this audience, but in many companies, top management, we were born analogics, not digitals. So it's very important to understand the sense of urgency, how we will be disrupted by others if we don't change. So therefore, the first step is to have a vision of how this will change us or force us to change. There are 4 major technologies that will force us to change. The first is everything related with communities, the interaction with communities. You know, even close communities within the company, and also community with the outside. The second technology is mobility. This changes everything. How you interact with things and with mobile devices will change everything. For example, it's expected that by 2020, 75 billion products will be connected through the internet. There are several projections, but between 50 billion and 75 billion will be connected to the net. And this affects all of us, because we all of us as companies will interact with that. The third one is big data. 90% of the data that has been generated the last 24 months in the human's history has been generated in the last 24 months, 90%. And that, in this case, you need data analysis, you know, how to manage all this big data. And the fourth one is very important, which is 85% of the applications are cloud-based. And this comes to the capabilities. Do I have to have all those capabilities to face all this? And you don't need to have it. You have to have an open innovation and leverage what others, like startups, are doing to force and to reinforce your value proposition. That's why we have this we are present in this kind of events, because we will not able to change as quick as we need if we're not leveraged by small startups that will do this kind of innovation, and they need it like a tractor, you know, like a big machine, like a big train that will help them, you know, to grow, and they will help us to be more competitive. You know, so this is the vision that is very important. In our case, we're using them, you know, to develop very innovative processes and very innovative services that will help us to modify at the end of the story our value proposition. But without this kind of a disruptive innovation coming from startups, we will not be able to do it as quick as possible.
Okay.
Sting?
When we started, you talk about liking this stage and this forum because people with money comes here. So I would say that one of the barriers is not only about money, but it's about creating a real business case for all these new concepts of business models. And it's not only about money for me, it's creating a sustainable business case. And when I mean sustainable, I mean we have to be sure that all these new things create value, not only for ourselves, the corporations, that we will invest if we see value on these kind of things. As you said in Telefonica, I think your case is very good. I like it very much. But you also have to create value for your customers. Mm-hmm. So if the customer is like full of new data that you are popping on him all the time and so on, this is not value for them, and then the business case will really go away. And then I think it's very important to create value for society. So we are having all these cases about, for example, taxi drivers fighting against companies that are doing digital things, but in the end, it could make a value for customers, it could make a value for the guys providing the service, but what about society? So I think we have to be careful, and we have to be very concerned about what is the business case all these kind of technologies will bring us as customer, as corporations, or providers of the service, also for the society. And this is what I meant about a sustainable business case. And I think this is a big barrier for all these kind of things to go ahead if we don't take into account all these three dimensions of what we are talking about.
Okay. Perhaps last quick round before we open to the people, so they can also ask us, is, well, the next big thing. What's the next big thing or idea or concept that do you believe that in your sector, in your area, in your company, is going to make a difference? Perhaps starting with Telefonica, if we see the story you have provided us, great headlines, no, with Sinsterra Times, 20, Guaira, Telefonica Digital. You integrated everything, now fusion with the video. I like it very much, the story.
Yeah.
So what do you think could be the next for the industry, the next big thing for the industry?
I think that the next big thing is going to be the economy of data. I think that the revolution we are living today, with so many things connected, with our smartphones producing a lot of data, so I think that this huge amount of information is going to be the new coin of the 21st century, for sure. I'm not thinking about reselling the data, because I don't think that this is going to be the big thing. The big thing is how, in an ecosystem playground, all the companies, including companies like Telefonica, are going to build a different way of consuming services by the customers. For instance, today, millennials are not keen on acquiring a car. So the way they understand the product is pretty different, because they want to pay as a service. They want to pay as they have mobility to go from here to Barcelona. So this change of mindset that we are living today, and for us is really amazing, is going to be one of the key disruptions, where all our companies need to be ready to invent, to explore, and to build new ways of running business, but taking into consideration that the consumer is going to change and evolve in a way that I can share with you my data, my personal data, if you give me, for instance, better insurance for my car, because you know how is my driving performance, so we can connect and we can create a new business model. So for us, I think that this is a huge revolution that we, of course, we would like to embrace.
Okay.
Yeah,
Marta?
I completely agree with that. It is what I was trying to say before. In other sectors, the customers, in that sense, is the end user. But if we talk about city councils, or if we talk about large corporations that need to improve the performance, the way they interact with the installations or with the customers, data is the key of everything and of the environment.
Okay.
I think that for me to know what is going to happen is very difficult, you know. So what's the next big thing in general? I don't know. But for us, what is the big thing for us is that we need to deal and develop smarter infrastructures. Smart infrastructure is for us a big deal, you know, which means better connectivity with things, better data analysis, you know, to be able to analyze that. Only 1% of all the data produced is analyzed, and that's nothing. And how we will interact with our clients. So for us, the big thing is interconnectivity with things in order to get better information, to take better decisions, to help us to react faster, cheaper, and better.
Agustín?
Yeah, I could say data, I could say robots, I could say materials, but I think the next big thing in our industry is sustainable energy. You know that in December in Paris there will be the Conference of the Parts trying to decrease the emissions of CO2, to decrease the greenhouse effect. So all these kind of things I said at the very beginning, data, robots, or whatever it is, will be tools for us, but what we want to deliver is sustainable energy for all our customers, for the society. So this is the big thing for our industry, sustainable energy.
Okay. I will say my opinion as well, and if I have to choose one topic that can transform really in the next years what we have understood was digital in the past, the title would be blurring lines between digital and physical. I think this is very, very important. Blurring lines between sectors, because now talking about sectors or value chains is being mixed. Blurring lines between startups and traditional companies. So this is for me the real transformation you will see. So the world and the business as we used it to see in the past, for digital on one side and physical on the other side, will be blurred in the next years. So now we open the micros for people. Any questions, you can use your hand for raising questions. Any question here on the right, on the left, on the front? Any? If not, I go. Yes, please. Question? It doesn't work. Hold on a second, please.
Hello.
No.
Yeah, it's for Víctor. I want to know if you can provide us some examples of what are you doing in the operational sector, also with workers connected and things like that.
Sure. I can give you you can have two different strategies in order to start this digital transformation. You can work on the peripheral processes, business processes, or go into the core business. Usually companies in our sector would think, don't get, they don't miss with the core. We're doing projects, and I will give an example in our very, very much in our core. When you are talking about developing an infrastructure, you have a project manager. And this project manager interacts with suppliers, with workers, with even with the client, which you might have several clients in order to interact. And you have the planning of the infrastructure of the project. What we're doing is developing through using a startup, a multi-platform system that interacts and that connects the planning of the project, that internet, and even we develop an internal WhatsApp in order to communicate with the people that is participating in the project. At the end, what you have in the tip of your fingers, how the project is developing, with the delays. If there is a supplier that didn't, deliver on time, you can send a mail and say you are, not underperforming. The lawyer, because you have the contract, you can hire and you can make complaints immediately. So you don't receive the mails that you don't need. They are, disregarded based on the criticality, because a typical manager receives more than 150 mails per day. Most of them are, yes, okay, understood. I see you tomorrow. Let's have a beer. And even a bad joke, bad jokes, which you lose a lot of time, waste a lot of time reading them. With this kind of platform, you eliminate the noise and you get all the relevant data to take critical decisions. This is the kind of innovation that we are developing as we speak, with our project managers across the world. Because we operate in more than 25 countries, and most of in many places, to build a dump or develop a highway or a bridge, all that is not necessarily the best place to have the best information, all the time. And for us, it's critical, because if you are able to reduce time and increase efficiency in a project, that means money directly to the pocket. So it's very critical. And this is a kind of an example, very specific in our core business. I have some others, for example, with municipalities, having, for example, the parking space, or the bins, the garbage, when you put the garbage, the location, the status, you will be able to give orders to that device. So therefore, using this kind of startups help us to develop services that are fast and bring it faster into the market.
Okay. Any other question? Okay, I think we are fine. Let me end with a final sentence, and a request to all of you. First, the final sentence is, if I have to provide an advice to all the audience, please, if you want to make digital transformation, take the digital to the core. Innovating is good, doing nice things is good, but take digital to the core of your business. No? And that's all, and the request is, please, I truly appreciate the participation of all the speakers here, so you can use the hand or clap if you want. So thank you very much.